Nice.
Hey you, come on, sit
Oh,
down. You're sitting at the grown-ups table. I'm your host, Jesse Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime,
John Jacobs.
thank you very much, and a happy Wednesday to everybody. Today, we are going to be talking about Matrix Resurrection. Now, before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe our page. All new episodes go on reruns on our YouTube page the next day. So go to our YouTube page, like and subscribe. Let the algorithm know that you enjoy us so that we can go out to more people. Now, today, I want to say one thing real quick. You take the blue pill, the story ends here. You wake up in your bed and you believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you're going to stay and join us at the grown-ups table, and I'm going to show you how deep this rabbit hole goes. And remember, all we are offering is the truth. And we're going to be talking about Matrix Resurrection, man. I'm very...
Let me just say, that was a beautiful intro. I loved how you framed that up, man. Even though I hate this movie, you did a great job framing it up, so... that theme is going to run rampant this entire episode. Everybody knows I hated this movie, so...
Here's how popular your hatred or liking for a movie is. I was driving home or driving to my parents' house for Christmas, and my wife, Sarah, goes, well, John didn't like The Matrix.
Now, did Sarah like it?
What?
Did Sarah like it?
She didn't watch it. She doesn't. She liked the first movie. She got bored of the second one, which there's her response right there. But
I didn't hear what she said.
She said it sucks.
Oh, so your wife agrees with me and you don't?
Yes, apparently. Because apparently if my wife is wet, I'm dry. Wait, don't read into that. That sounded dirty.
Wow! Where were you going with that?
Sorry. That sounded way dirtier than I wanted to do. Without further ado, let's bring our guests on before
bring them out.
Any more awkward. Please give it up for Ryan Hillsman and Bryan Douglas, everyone. Yeah! All right.
Guys.
Oh, hello, gentlemen.
What's up? So,
we're
real quick. So we've got Ryan returning. He's a great guest on the show. He's a big fan of the show. But we do have Bryan for the first time. Bryan is also a huge Matrix fan. I've known Bryan for like 23 years, more than half of our life.
Yes.
We worked at Toys R Us together back in the 90s, which was fantastic and horrible at the same time. So,
100%
Bryan,
agree.
welcome to your introductory episode into the show. Glad you could finally make it on.
I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys, long time listener, first time caller kind of situation.
Nice.
Love the show. Can't wait to get talking about this wonderfully horrible movie.
Hey, I knew someone was going to be on my side. Ryan,
the only reason you brought me on was that I actually worked at Toys R Us.
Well, we actually, Ryan, our clique that we formed when we worked there, it's like 70% still intact. And there's a lot of people involved. I mean, dozens of people. We've done really well at keeping together. I mean, it was just, we all just kind of formed this bond for those long years we worked there and bullshit we had to go through. And we just stayed together, stayed friends.
I just find it funny that you find me, and I used to work for Toys R Us too.
But you just weren't here in Ohio, man. You were in the Family Guy world.
It was here in Rhode Island. That's what I find funny about that.
Well, you're still like a brother from another mother,
Yeah.
You're still part of the Toys R Us group.
I'll be the milkman's kid. It's okay.
He's just from the Pawtucket Brewery side of the Toys R Us fans. I remember we were playing Destiny one night and you kept doing that, and I definitely had a few drinks that night. I was just dying anytime you did
For every kill, I had to do the Peter Griffin laugh.
Yeah. All right, Jesse, what the hell are we all doing here? We got great people on the show today. What are we talking about? The disappointment, huh?
Well, yeah, apparently we're talking about the disappointment. Now, just whether we like it or not. So, let's go off. I just want to say our guests are already getting shout outs.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Bryan, you apparently are an amazing painter in the Midwest. So hopefully
thank you.
Some paintings. And then Tom has already ate the red pill. So I like that. He's ready.
Yeah, good job, Tom.
So we're going to talk. So before we get into the movie
Spoilers.
itself. And
Spoilers.
again, spoilers.
The whole guys, this whole episode. So if you haven't seen The Matrix and you're watching live, look, we want you to watch and interact live with us, but at the same time, we don't want to be the one that spoils it. If you have not seen Resurrection yet and you don't want it to be spoiled, as painful it is to say, don't watch this live. But if you've seen it, stay on because I can't wait to talk shit about it.
All right. Well, before we go any further, as I addressed the whole entire show, where are we? Are we taking the red pill or the blue pill? Are you enjoying the life you're living right now, or are you ready to leave it? Tell me right now. Let's start with Bryan. Bryan, if I gave you...
I would probably take the blue pill, to be honest with you.
Yeah?
I mean, I have my fantastic job. I mean, I get to paint all day. I'm taking the blue pill.
All right. Now, Ryan, blue pill, red pill.
If I get to keep my kid with me, red pill. If not, blue.
I see. That's the one thing I liked. When I put that on Facebook, you gave me like the deepest answer ever. People would be like, "Listen, if I get to still have my new Xbox, red pill." Like he's bringing a child's like life into this, and I love it. That's how good of a father you are. John, how about you,
Thank
man?
you.
I'm pretty much aligned with Ryan and Bryan. It's weird that they rhyme. Like that's going to be fun today.
Honestly, I'm hoping we get like a side podcast going there.
Ryan and Bryan.
Yeah.
So I'm a lot the same. I'd probably blue pill it unless I could bring my family with me. But I will say, if there was irrefutable and empirical evidence that something was awry and that there was going to be something that happened that was revealing of reality for me to take the red pill, then I might go ahead and take that gamble, because at the end of the day, if it's all a simulation around me, then that's fine. I'll take the red pill, but I need a little more confirmation before I make that decision, because I'm embedded now, like I've got shit going on.
Yeah. For me, I'll admit I'm going to go with the blue pill. I actually enjoy my life right now, and it's really good. So, I mean, I hate to be that guy that's like, I'm going to let the machines win. But, hey, I might let them win. And just make no mistake, the machines will come after us, my friends. This is a news story that came out today, and I thought how appropriate to talk about this news story real fast. And Alexa told a 10-year-old boy to stick a penny in an outlet.
What?
I saw that. That was, yeah.
The machines are here. The machines are here. They're just daring us to do shit rather than using us as batteries.
So did he ask Alexa, how do I electrocute myself? And she was like, do this?
I guess. I don't know. Or maybe like, where do pennies go? In the outlet.
Where do pennies go? Searching for that on your Amazon list. Put a penny in a light socket and see what happens.
I think Alexa had just gotten tired of her questions and was like, here, take the penny, put it right there, you'll be good.
That's like virtual Darwinism taken to the next level.
Yeah.
Yep. It's all a big troll. It's Alexa. She's the mastermind behind all of it. So there is no Matrix. It's just Alexa. Alexa's running everything now.
All I can say is, everybody, just hold on to your loved ones. We don't have long for this planet. All right. Just
don't wake up.
Jesse, let's jump into our conversation. Why are we all gathered here today, and why are all these great people watching us?
Because, man, in 1999, a classic was born, The Matrix. Man, this movie was revolutionary. It was a cyberpunk movie. It was a wushu martial arts movie. Mm-hmm. It was a post-apocalyptic movie. It had everything. It had a lot of the best of both worlds. Well, not both, multiple worlds, all rolled into one. I mean, you had charismatic actors portraying roles amazingly. Now, I could go on and gush forever, but let's go to our guests. What cemented this movie for you guys?
Ryan, go ahead and start.
Ryan or Bryan?
You, Ryan, R, Ryan.
Well, I pretty much made my feelings known in the first episode that we did for The Matrix.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
And I loved it. The martial arts, the cyberpunk, the overall like the depth that movie just takes you to for all the levels. Like it really makes you think. Like, are we real, or are we actually living in some kind of computer generated universe? And are we actually being used as batteries or not?
Yeah.
It just makes you question everything. And that's what I love about it.
Yes, this movie. I mean, one of the things is this movie gave me that existential crisis I needed before I was 13. I was like,
"Oh God, you were that young when this movie came out." Oh
I was 7, and I don't know.
Wow, I feel really old now.
Yeah,
Bryan, I'm pretty sure we went to the theater at one point.
Yes, we did. We did.
I mean,
it was on TBS. I think in 2001 was when
oh God!
I take it back. I was 9 when I watched it, and it was like right after 9/11 happened. And then now I'm finding out maybe none of this is real, and we're all batteries. Like, which is why I'm on antidepressants to this day.
Jesse, do you realize your balls hadn't even dropped when you watched this movie? That's how young you were.
Dude, some shit dropped out of my pants. I'll tell you that right now.
Wow.
I was worried about Al Qaeda and freaking.
Dude, there was a pretty big Al Qaeda scare there for a
I
while.
was worried about 2 of those things right now.
Just a couple of years we were worried about it,
Just a couple. Yeah, a small amount.
Just a couple.
So let's go on to Bryan. Bryan, I know you are a massive Matrix fan. So what was it for you?
I mean, obviously from the beginning, just like Ryan said, the fight scenes obviously really kind of got us the sci-fi, and what it really to me was like a mixture of Star Wars and a mixture of one of my all-time favorite movies, the Japanese anime Akira.
Yeah, man.
Took the cyberpunk and the philosophies and the stuff they had in that, and combined it almost kind of with Star Wars. And I'm only using Star Wars because that was like before Matrix. You really can't think of another sci-fi franchise that really kind of overtook everything. Aliens a little bit, but I mean, Aliens 3 is
not on the same level.
Yeah,
Aliens isn't on the same sci-fi level as Matrix.
No,
I would.
It was like a combination of those two. Plus, it has like a lot of. It has a lot of religion philosophies, but it really concentrates on dualism, which I'm a big Buddhist, and that's a major part of Buddhism, the separation of mind and body. So a lot of it spoke to me. Now, I do love it, but I also understand that in 2 and 3, there's a lot of major holes and a lot of major missteps that
there are.
You kind of got to overlook.
Sure.
Unfortunately. But I mean, the first one is up there, really. I mean, honestly, with me, with Empire Strikes Back. Because
I don't disagree.
It is. I mean, it is literally a masterpiece.
It blew people away. I was a junior in high school when it came out, and we all went to see it. And there were people that I never thought were into like heavy sci-fi that I knew that were going to see this movie and absolutely loving the film. And like people like my parents like did it, it was just like for them because it just kind of went over their head, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is very heavy sci-fi. We're talking like Expanse and like Dune, like some of those series that are just really, really heavy with the sci-fi. So some sci-fi fans, it might have been too sci-fi for them. Like my parents, they like sci-fi, but that was a little too much for them, and I think it took them out of enjoying it. But for me, just like everybody else, it was pulling the veil off. It was we've always thought about this mundane life we live, this mundane world we're in, and then something cataclysmic happens that pulls the veil from our eyes, and we're thrust into this new world. We're fish out of water, but now we're like have powers and shit, and there's some destiny for us, and there's this story to go down, and there are rivals and villains, and there's things that we're learning, and we're also kicking ass. We have amazing bullet time special effects that to this day have not been properly replicated. and or used in a way to how to impact that the way they did in the first film. And then just on top of the cinematography, there are a lot of scenes, the way they shoot it, where we get a sense that the Matrix is large and expansive, but it's still claustrophobic at the same time. It always takes place in a city. It always takes place in a hallway. There's nowhere to go. It's always this feeling of you are trapped, even when they're in and out of the Matrix. And that tone really puts you into the narrative and makes you feel what they're trying to feel. And you can't replicate that. I mean, you can't. And that's why I love the first film so much.
I agree 100%, actually.
Yeah, this film, like, the first one I found so great because it balanced everything just properly.
Yeah.
You know, had like I said, had all those genres it was blended nicely. Had philosophy, but not too much where it pounds you over the head.
Yeah.
It had a lot of fight scenes, but it didn't drown out the acting. It had a lot. So this was a very iconic film. And like I said, to this day, there are kids that haven't seen this movie, but reference this movie. You know, like when they say, look at me, I'm doing the Matrix. Whoa, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, you're 5, you've never seen the Matrix, but they get the reference, you know, they get the reference. And I think that's when a movie transcends past just being a movie. It becomes a statement. Now, and now speaking of statements, I want to show you guys this. This came onto my feed today. I'm not sure if any of you guys have.
Oh man, what is this he's sharing? Guys, I have no idea what this is. This is
this is
the
all
Jesse impromptu here. I have no idea. Oh shit! Is that a Build-A-Bear?
That's a Build-A-Bear right there.
Oh, nice.
You've got the code and everything.
Yeah, look, Brian's already like, I'm getting it.
That is proof that we do live in the Matrix. When they have a Matrix Build-A-Bear,
hell yes,
that is 100%.
Dude, I love the sunglasses. I love the code for the
coding.
skin on.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I want that.
Yeah.
There it is. Build-A-Bear plug. We're not getting paid for. Everybody go get a Build-A-Bear. We're not getting paid. Go get it.
I would put the link in the comments section, but we're not getting paid. You're right.
Don't do that. They might come after us. We can just verbally hey, go to Build-A-Bear. Maybe they'll sponsor the next episode.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, man. They got it because this is the way to go. But anyways, going back to our conversation. So let's before we move on, let's just kind of just skim right past. Let's skim the sequels. Now, I'll say this real quickly: the sequels are watchable. I'll watch them. I enjoy them out to this day. Are they flawed? Yes. Are the fight scenes great? They're fantastic. I think one of the things that always bothered me after the first movie is how I never felt like the agents were as a greater threat than they were in the first movie. Yeah. In the first movie, I felt like if an agent walked into the room, it might as well just be the Grim Reaper because you stand no chance against them, you know? And then in the second movie, they kind of played it with it. And like, you know, you had Morbius fight them on the truck, which I love that scene. It's fantastic. But by the third movie, I just felt like nobody was afraid of the agents anymore, which kind of bummed me out because the agents were, holy shit, scary.
Yeah.
Well, by the third movie, everything was all Smith inside the Matrix anyway.
Yeah.
He had already encompassed all of them, so it was all him.
Yeah, true. But I still wasn't that afraid of Smith, and I wanted to be.
I get what you're saying.
I want to be more afraid of Smith. Like in the first movie, like I said, anytime he walked onto the screen, I thought, okay, it's over. It's like it's done. They're not going to win. Game is over. The movie ends right here. The credits are going to roll. But like, I don't know. And maybe I'm putting too much of a high standard on how great that first movie was. I mean, what are your thoughts on that all?
Well, I mean, obviously the sequels weren't as good, but they do tell a cohesive story. There were some cool things that happened. We flushed out Neo as being the one. We got some other useless characters we would have liked to have seen more and then didn't. So then they put him in this movie and we didn't want to see him at all in this movie. You know, I mean, I'm just saying. But
Jada Pinkett Smith's in the background talking about how Will Smith's dick ain't shit.
Yeah, we got we got some pretty cool battles of the humans versus the machines. Again, it wasn't what we were thinking it was going to be, but it was still cool. But you know, ultimately, it told a cohesive story about about Neo in the one and his destiny to reset the Matrix as it's been done, but this time it was done a little bit different because Smith went crazy and then some terms got negotiated and things like that, and we kind of got a semi-happy ending, which you would think would lead us into this fourth movie of, okay, so what are we gonna do now? Because we told a 3-movie arc that was concluded at the end, but hey, let's make a fourth one and we're gonna do it. And then Wachowski's like, well, okay, fine, I guess I'll do it by myself because I don't want the studio to do it, and I'll try to get everybody. But oh wait, we're gonna shoot our film at this time, and 2 of the biggest actors that need to be in it aren't available. Maybe we should talk to them and figure out when they would be available. Or a workaround. Nah, fuck it. Just shoot the movie. We'll put new people in and we'll make up a whole bunch of MacGuffins about why they look the way they look.
Right.
Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Ready to talk about the new movie. We got to talk about the new movie now.
But yeah, basically, it was the terms and agreement. Someone fucked it up. They didn't read it. They clicked terms and agreement. They agreed. And all of a sudden, everything changed and the Matrix was all touchy-feely.
It was like how we didn't really conclude World War I, so therefore we got World War II.
Well, it seems like we want to get into the Matrix 4, so I'm going to just skip ahead because I know we have a lot to unload, and it's already 21 minutes in. So let's talk about it. Bam! To my 2 super fans of the Matrix, starting with Bryan this time. Bryan with a B. What were your thoughts about this movie? What were your expectations? What did you do great? Tell us about it.
The best way I can describe this movie is kind of an analogy of like when you're 7 or 8 and you go downstairs on Christmas Day, you got all your presents around the tree. You're like, oh, this is going to be so awesome. You start opening them. Yeah, you get your sweaters and your underwear and your socks. But you also get, your He-Man with the battle armor.
Oh, yeah, man.
You get your Darth Vader, maybe your Cobra Commander, whatever. Yep. But then there's that one box that's sitting in the back, right? And it's like on your list, you had Optimus Prime listed down there. That was like number 1. You're like, parents, if you give me anything, it's got to be Optimus Prime, Transformer. You see the box, you know what the box looks like because you've been staring at it for, 3 months as a kid, just picturing it in your hands.
Yep.
Looks like the box. You put it in your lap, you start ripping it open, and you know what you get? You get a GoBot. A fucking GoBot. What the fuck?
The motorcycle guy.
Right, yeah. But even then, you're like, okay, well, it still transforms. It'll move. He can still battle with He-Man.
He can. GoBots are smaller.
Right, yeah. And you're playing with him, and then the arm falls off. And you're like, well, okay, that's not so bad. And then you're playing a little bit more, and then another wheel comes off, and then another wheel. And 30 minutes into it, it's all on the ground in pieces. That's how I felt about the movie 30 minutes into it.
Oh,
I was like, it's already a piece of shit. It can't get any worse. And then it just continued. But I mean, I think I went in with a little bit too high expectations, being a big fan of The Matrix.
Sure.
And
I
watched it now 3 times. The first time, I wanted to eat as many blue pills as I had in my house so I would forget that the movie ever existed. The second time, I probably smoked a little bit too much and just laughed all the way through it. And then the third time, I sat and just played on my phone and just kind of watched it just as reference for this show. So that was my experience.
That's beautifully summed up. Ryan with an R, can you top that?
I don't know. I'm going to try. So I didn't have as bad of an experience with the movie as you guys did. I didn't really have too many high expectations for it because
same here.
The way movies are nowadays, especially if they're reboots, remakes, sequels, stuff like that, there's just so many issues. So I wasn't really expecting much out of it. I was confused as fuck when I first started watching it. It took me up until the second watching. I mean, I'll definitely use Bryan's analogy, with the whole toy thing on Christmas. You see that one box in the back and you're expecting it to be the Red Ryder BB gun and it's like, it's not.
Yeah, right. It's not.
It was good in its own way. I understand it more watching it. Like I watched it twice yesterday and once more before the show
Whoa!
today.
Oh my God, you are a brave man,
Like
sir.
like I wanted to make sure that I really got a good handle on it because, like I said, when I told you I liked it, I did like it. I understand it more now, but I wanted to actually understand what they were doing, why they did this, why they did that. It makes more sense to me now that I've seen it as many times as I did in such a short amount of time as I did. But I mean, as far as comparing them to the originals, I mean the original trilogy was good. They did leave it open to do more movies.
They did, as they.
I don't know. I
Unfortunately,
don't quite know if I would have. I don't know if I would quite go the route that they did with this one, but I understand it now and I appreciate it and enjoy it more
Okay.
than I thought I was going to.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say. Oh, go ahead, Jesse.
I was gonna say, let's jump over to the comment section. I want to give some love out to the comments.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of comments.
I don't want them to think we're ignoring them because I love them all. Ted was ready to go crazy with that.
I know Ted would drink a vial of liquid red pill. So yeah, I mean, Ted's
like,
all over
we were talking about the kid.
There would be no IV drip. He would just chug it, like Norman Osborn did with the perichlorophene or whatever that shit was called.
Oh yeah. All right. Oh yeah, Ted agrees. Matrix is pretty. I agree with that. That's a very strong statement.
That's a whole discussion.
Okay, I agree with certain
I will agree with that, but for the sequels.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
If we're talking Star Wars sequels, yes.
Hold on, guys.
Prequels and original trilogy, I would not go that far.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I was gonna say. All right. So then, let's see. Basically, the whole game thing.
We're gonna get into that, man.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into that. It's a whole topic we have.
I was waiting for the Christmas story references. Yeah, everybody had them today. That was good.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec. We'll see. Yeah, but yeah. Everybody's upset with the Romeo and Juliet kind of thing they were going.
God. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
Yeah.
That's probably going to dominate most of the rest of the show. But real quick, so I had two sets of expectations. One, there are reasonable, standard, objective expectations for a Matrix film. There just are, which is you're going to have the action, which is martial arts based. You're going to have really cool special effects. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a mind-twisting story, and you're going to have characters that you care about. Mm-hmm. These are expectations that any person across the board is going to have about a Matrix film. And then you have your personal expectations, which I went in with almost none because I was hating the trailers at first. And then that last trailer they released got me. And the reason it got me is because I thought that's what the movie was going to be about and not this stupid meta game. So I was in on that last trailer. I'm like, sweet. So the new Matrix is live. Somehow Neo and Trinity are alive. This amount of time has passed. Some shit's going to be going down in the real world, and they're going to wake them up, and we're going to engage in a new story and a new trilogy because this new shit's happening. And then that's not at all what happened.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was basically a love movie with a heist at the end. That's what it was.
I mean, if you could call it a heist, I guess.
It's more of a prison break, but
a prison break. Yeah, that's a
more of a prison break. This would have been interesting if the blue pill gets changed out.
That actually would have been I would have laughed my ass off in that. I would have been like, dude, they went comedy. Great job. We've got Neo the whole time. Awesome.
Oh, they were hamming it up. That's the one issue I have with this movie is how much they hammed it up with the cat tricks. The cat tricks, everybody.
Oh my God, that was such a cringe.
I wanted to jump out my window when I was like, I literally waited to the end credit for this bullshit. Like,
but the sad thing is you know that there are people out there in some type of production capacity that would fucking suggest something that fucking stupid.
Oh,
yeah.
Ryan, we already had successful executive studio meetings where somebody said, we're going to make a movie about tornadoes with sharks inside of them.
That's true.
With freaking sharks in the tornadoes.
And an executive looked at that guy and was like, you got your money. Make that movie.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So anything that's the standard to compare it to.
You're
so,
right.
like, anything is possible at this point. Okay.
And they even decided to put Tara Reid in it. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
for all the movies. Like, she wasn't doing anything. She was
and they made more than one.
her schedule
They
was
weren't popping out any more American Pie, so they needed to give her some more.
Don't you dare talk shit about my man Ian Ziering, all right? I'll get
I
defensive
didn't talk
about
shit
him.
about him. I just said they weren't popping out any American Pies.
Leave Steve Sanders alone, damn it. He was the glue on 90210. You know it.
Now, my issue with is that here's the thing. I enjoyed this movie, but not for any of the right reasons. I walked in with a bar so low to the ground, it probably didn't exist. Because the second and third one beat the love of these movies out of me. The only reason why is because I felt like sometimes they got too preachy and too heavy-handed with the philosophy.
Yeah,
to the point
definitely.
where it's like, all right, guys, we're going to do a 30-minute lecture, and then we'll fight.
Yeah, right.
we're going to dance, and then we're going to fight.
Yeah.
There
You guys seen WandaVision, right?
Yeah.
You know that one scene where the two visions are talking? Okay, I can't.
Wait, Ryan, you didn't watch WandaVision?
Okay, I can't say what I have to say.
I am not
Wow.
a fan.
No. Go ahead. I mean, I'll watch it eventually. I already have.
There's a scene where there are two visions. I'm not going to put it in context. There's two visions, and they're fighting, but they don't actually fight. They get into a philosophical debate. They're like, if the great ship in the world, the greatest ship in the world was built this year, and throughout the years, parts were replaced, and after 30 years, is it still the same ship? Or is it a completely different ship if all the parts are replaced? And they just go back and forth debating it. And that's what I felt like a lot of Matrix 2 and 3 was. Like, I was like, oh my God, just fight, God damn it. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Just fight. Just fight. Like, the first movie, it was good. The philosophy built into the movie, and it made it a crux. But this, it felt like someone was like, all right, let's put a shitload of chocolate in there. And then let's put a shitload of pancake batter, and let's hope it makes good chocolate chip pancakes. And it just oversaturated each other.
Yeah,
this movie
they had good balance in the first one, but after that, you're right. So there was good balance in the first one with the philosophy and the fighting. But but after that, it was really okay. We're gonna punch you with a bunch of philosophy for an hour, and then we're gonna get 20 minutes of fighting, and then we're gonna go back and maybe just chill and dance for a minute, and then we're gonna take a nap.
Yeah,
and then someone's gonna go blind, and then
someone's gonna go blind. Probably shouldn't have been touching himself that
he
night.
gets their hands up. You ever live a glass half full life, motherfucker?
Right.
Like I just felt like, all right, again. But this movie, I felt they went really the opposite direction. They were like, all right, we're going to talk about reboots, nostalgias, remakes, reimagining. They dumbed down the philosophy to the point where there was no philosophy anymore.
No.
And I hated that. It made this movie into a dumb popcorn movie. So in a sense,
I wouldn't even say it's a popcorn movie. There's not enough action for it to be a popcorn
movie. Well, no, I agree with that. There's not enough action. Let me get to that criticism. So it dumbed it down to a dumb popcorn movie where there is no thinking. It's fluff. It's passable as a regular movie, but not passable as a Matrix movie. It didn't meet the standards. And number two, the fighting was terrible. The fighting was garbage.
Especially for $150 million budget. That's what you gave us?
Right. I heard it was even 175. Yeah. I mean,
oh, God, even worse.
Yeah.
Like
175 million, and that's what you gave us.
That's what we got.
Spend the money on.
Well, that's a problem with a lot of these movies nowadays. They're relying too heavy on these CG action sequences that look fake. Like, for example, Shang-Chi, when that came out for Marvel, my biggest complaint about that movie was you had one of the best stunt teams in the world working on that movie. Brad Allen, God rest his soul, he was a student of Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan invented how you film fight scenes, essentially.
I agree.
On all that. And the ending, I mean, while it was a so good movie, it was very heavily CGI'd. I would have rather seen a good fight. Boom, 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 boom. And they could have blew us away with that, but they didn't. So that's
okay. So look,
hey, not everything can be Ghostbusters Afterlife with a $75 million budget.
I'm not talking about nostalgia in that case.
$50 million budget like the 2016 friggin' abortion was.
Let's not even go down that road.
let the hate flow.
Okay, so let's just put this in perspective here. Okay, so in my opinion, Mad Max Fury Road is the pinnacle example of how to do practical effects. Okay,
correct.
Because that film goes out of its way to do practical effects more than any other recent film. Like I would say, easily in the last 10 years or so, we can argue about that if you got a good example.
Yeah, beyond that, 20 probably. Yeah.
I would agree with that statement. That's
so.
Yeah.
The budget for that film, and I know all four of us here have seen this film. Mm-hmm. The budget for that film was approximately around the same budget as The Matrix. So let that sink in on visually what that film did, presentation and visual-wise, compared to Matrix. What did they spend their money on with this movie? Keanu he's like what, a $15 million actor? I don't know if he hit 20. Yeah. Maybe he did because John Wick was huge.
Let's round it to 20 just to
okay.
Play safe. Let's round it.
I guarantee
but he's not one that takes a lot of money though.
$5 million. Okay. So who else is getting paid in this movie?
He isn't one to take a lot of money, but he's known to donate a lot. So he'll go for a big paycheck and then donate.
Okay. So my point is the money didn't go to high salaries for the actors. Where did the money get spent then? Because it sure as shit didn't get spent on the visuals. Mad Max Fury Road proves that you can do that with the same budget. So what the fuck did they spend their money on?
I mean, how much is MPH,
Dude, MPH is up there, man. I guarantee you he was probably getting 10 plus. I'm going to look it up
I would hope so, because he is one of the saving graces to the movie. I mean, to me, he plays kind of like that Sean Connery era Bond villain, but he does it almost perfectly.
He was the opposite of Ben Shapiro, except he was like, feelings, not facts. Feelings, not facts. I'm going to make a Matrix. My feelings. That's what I got from him.
Now, every time I watch it, I'm just going to picture Ben Shapiro now.
It's all feelings, not facts.
Okay, so Keanu made he was paid 12 to 14 million. That sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah, all right.
I'm not finding NPH's paycheck on this one, though. It's not. If anybody in the comments can find that for us, go ahead. I don't want to spend too much time looking at it. But I'm very curious as to what NPH got paid for this. Now, as we transition, I think we can transition to our next topic, Jesse, which is basically, the meat and potatoes of this film is that they turned the original Matrix trilogy into this meta bullshit. And they did this, all of this, just so that they can explain why certain actors aren't playing certain characters. That's the whole reason they fucked up their own story, was to just explain a couple of characters that were played by different actors. And it's the stupidest thing ever. It reminds me of why I hate Star Trek Generations so much. Because the only purpose of that movie was to destroy the Enterprise D so they could have a new Enterprise for the movie franchise. That was the whole point of that movie happening. But somehow that had to involve killing Captain Kirk? Like, there was no reason for that. Extrapolate that to this Matrix. Like, you don't have to erase what you did in these 3 movies. You spent 3 movies taking us from a hacker guy that we can all relate to in life and building him up into this fucking superhero that's going to save humanity against this machine war where everyone's plugged into this fucking simulation and all hell is breaking loose, and fucking Neo owns it. He steps up, he takes the job, and he sacrifices himself for all these other people and for the machines so that everybody gets what they want. Okay? Wow, dude. Amazing sacrifice. He pulled everybody's man card. No one will ever get it back. You can't get that back. So then we come to this fourth movie and undo everything.
Right.
Just so that the movie can happen. So let's do all of this shit and make all these jokes about sequels with Warner Brothers and, oh, it was just a game. So what you saw in the game wasn't what really happened in that version of the Matrix. The Morpheus guy really didn't look like this. Oh my God. Agent Smith really didn't look like, oh my God. It was the dumbest, like, as this was unfolding for me as I'm watching this, I'm like, no, this isn't the explanation. This isn't the explanation. Yeah. This isn't the explanation. And it's like, oh, yeah, it is. It was, we were watching a game based off of the shit that happened in that. And I honestly, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And it was at that moment, like, I was already checked out of the movie 20 minutes in when I realized it was just wasting everybody's time and nothing was happening. And by the way, I still haven't got a straight answer as to why Neo was even brought out to begin with, other than somebody just wanted to. So
why were they searching for him?
I don't know. I have no idea. So by the time we got to all of this explanation as to what was happening with all this meta shit, I just didn't care. And I thought it was the dumbest thing. And I just kept thinking, it's just like Star Trek Generations. They did all these stupid things to achieve one goal that they could have done without doing any of the stupid shit.
Right.
Killing Captain Kirk, ruining Neo. You don't have to do that to continue your story forward. Okay, rant over. I'll let other people talk.
Now, I here's the thing for me, and maybe I read into something, or maybe I'm refusing facts. So you guys be the judge of it. I felt like even though what we saw is supposedly the video game and not actually what really happened, I still feel like that's what actually did happen. You know what I mean? Like what was manifested in the video game, the Matrix still remembers those moments. And I think those are like archived in some sort of way, because the way it seems like, you know, like Jonathan Groff, who played Smith, like he kind of made a reference like, yeah, I guess they made us look different so we couldn't recognize each other because we're so connected and stuff like that. So I have a feel, and even when we saw the Morpheus statue, that Morpheus statue looked more like Lawrence Fishburne's. It did not look like the Morpheus we saw today.
I've got theories on this, which is why I watched it so many times, so I wouldn't be a slouch when it comes to today's show.
All right, Ryan, go ahead.
All right, so we have a new Matrix.
Okay.
It's not the same one as before.
Yes.
Okay. You have Doogie Howser as the new architect.
Yes.
Okay.
Where's his friend Vinny? Yo, dude, what are you doing here? Where's that guy at?
I have no idea. But the way that they had the new architect set up is, so the peace happened. Everything in the original movies happened. Okay. There was peace. But the problem was there was a lot of people leaving the Matrix, which meant the machines were losing power. They were losing their batteries.
Correct.
Yes.
And because of the events of what Neo did in the third movie at the end, it turned a lot of the machines on the side of the humans.
Yes, which I liked. I thought that was a cool concept.
I thought that was a cool,
excellent concept. But because there was so many people leaving, it caused problems with the machines. They're losing their energy. Now they're machines that want humans free. They're machines that don't want it, that want to keep their power base and everything else. Complete chaos erupts within the machine world. Yeah. They create a new Matrix with Doogie Howser as the new architect. Why him specifically? Well, it's because his program was there when Neo did what he did at the end of the third movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He understood humanity.
Yes.
And he knew that basically, it's almost like the new Matrix is like a state of hypnosis for not only Neo and Trinity, but for everybody else.
You're right.
And the things that keep everything together are Neo and Trinity.
Yes.
But the thing is it wouldn't work with just Neo. It had to work with Neo and Trinity because of their love for each other. Yeah. I don't think from everything I've read about the one, I don't think he ever really had a love interest until this version, until Neo came around.
Yeah, and that's what made this Neo different than the others, which ultimately led
Yeah.
to doing the truce,
Right.
because that had
Because
never happened in any of the other Matrixes.
And if you noticed, Neo didn't really get into his powers in the original movies if it weren't for Trinity.
Right.
It wasn't Morpheus that was helping him do all. I mean, Morpheus helped in some minor way, but it was mainly Trinity that got him further than what Morpheus could.
Mm-hmm.
So having those two together but apart was enough to keep the Matrix, the new Matrix, a stable entity and keep everybody in this much more of a state of hypnosis and like what they would consider to be more of a utopia type thing to where they don't want to leave the Matrix.
That is
I agree.
To keep them all plugged in. The whole thing with the game was it was probably just a way for the new architect to keep Neo happy. He made Neo rich, where before he was just
It's
he
the whole
was just
smoke and mirrors thing.
Yeah, he was keeping him happy. He was keeping him like kind of lethargic in a way to like, you know, he
took care of him.
He's battling demons in his head. He had the video game where subconsciously he recreated Morpheus and like kind of merged Morpheus and Smith together to kind of be there to help find him subconsciously.
Yeah.
And then it's like not we're just going like way deep into this, but it's just from my understanding, there's a reason for all of it. There was the original Matrix, now there's a new one, and it's completely on new rules, new concepts, a new way to keep everybody plugged in, and a way to possibly keep Neo happy and want to keep him plugged in, as opposed to trying to find his way back out so he can cause damage like he did in the originals.
Right. Well, they're trying to base it on desire and fear. He kind of brings that up in the scene.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah. The quote is something like he's quietly learning for something you don't have while still trying to not lose what you do have. And it's that whole desire and fear inside humans of, yes, we can always go to the greener side, but yet if we do, then we lose what we have in our pasture now.
Right.
And it keeps Neo numb, I think, for a long period of time. And I wouldn't say content, because he does open the module for Morpheus to be found and be brought out, and that way he can be found. And I just think it is a new Matrix, and I totally agree with what Ryan was saying there. But the whole game thing was
it drags it down.
And I get it. Like,
it does drag it down.
I thought it was a weird thing to add, but once I saw that Smith was a different, like, I honestly think that Smith had his visual code changed and had probably some of his source code changed too, to really keep an eye on Neo.
Because I don't think he realizes he's Smith until he grabs the gun. When he grabs the gun, that's when it all comes back to him, I think.
Yeah, well, I would say right when he sees the gun, that's when things start clicking in his head, because it was the same model gun that he had when he was an agent. But what I think was, with the way that Smith is trying to stay very much alive, maybe he made a deal with the new architect to where some of his code gets changed and he keeps an eye on Neo. Tries to keep him in check, which is why, Neo was talking to him at the beginning of the movie, and he's like, "Oh, hey, did you go see the therapist yet?" And they're cramming blue pills down his throat, where it's only supposed to be one blue pill. This guy's taking them like it's fucking Viagra, whatever. They're just pumping him through with these blue pills because they know that he can find his way back if he stops. Morpheus look changed, but Morpheus was just a code in the game. And then they broke Morpheus out of the game and brought him into the actual digital Matrix world.
Yeah.
Not the game. He was in the game. And then they broke him out and put him into the actual Matrix, the new one.
Yeah.
So that's where the movie just falls apart for me, is all of that shit, to be honest, because I'm cool with the new Matrix. I'm cool with it looking different because it's a new version.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it being ran differently because it's now being ran by the analyst versus the architect. I'm cool with it being ran more on like fear and paranoia and more emotions.
Trauma.
That makes sense
Trauma, yeah.
because
That
he
makes a lot of
explains that generates more energy and type things. So, hey, let's make it Matrix that exploits more energy out of people. Hey, I'm good with that. Hey, I'm good with the fact that some machines are helping the humans and there's a civil war between the machines. In fact, give me a fucking movie about that. That's the most interesting thing that's happening.
That was
Why
very
is that
interesting.
not
that
the
5-second clip of those robots fighting was like insane. I was like, okay,
Where's that?
I wanted more of that. I wanted to
It's
see
like-
what the fuck was going on with that.
I thought that would be the reason why they get out of the Matrix.
Right, that exactly.
Yeah.
So that's my point. So you know when you watch the Terminator movies and they have the cool machine war scene in the beginning, and you're like, where is that movie? And it still hasn't been made to this day, which I don't know why. It's the same thing. Like, that's what I want. That's what I wanted to see. I don't want to see all this retconning. I don't want to see all this destroying your hero. I don't want to see this destroying everything and building up new. I don't want to see new mythology playing out. Just continue the shit forward. Wake up Neo, because there is a civil war with the machines and the humans the one again. So wake up the one and let's get in this fucking war.
That's why they were trying to find them. That's why they were trying to find them. I think that's why the game was made originally in the movie, because that's where he put Morpheus, and Morpheus will find Neo. It's his destiny, whether it's in person or in source code. So Neo subconsciously put Morpheus in the game, which is what led what's her name, Bunny, to find him.
Useless character.
Bug.
Oh my
useless
God.
character.
By the way, she had the option to be either in Shang-Chi or this movie. And real quick, she was kicking ass as Colleen Wing in Iron Fist. She carried that show on her shoulders.
So
really interesting person.
I'm pretty sure she's going to come back to MCU as Colleen. She should have done Shang-Chi and not this. There we go.
Yes.
Ryan, back to you.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, that's all right. So with Morpheus being in the video game, his code being there, obviously it sent some type of ripple out to the real world. Bunny chased the ripple and found Morpheus. And then she got Morpheus out of the game, brought him into the actual digital world, because Morpheus has been dead for what, 50, 60 years
This
at that point.
sounds a lot like Tron, man.
It does. No, I mean, this is my interpretation of watching it as many times as I did, and really trying to focus on
it
the
makes
beginning,
sense.
because that's where my confusion was. My confusion was in the very beginning of the thing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, oh shit, he's an NPC in the fucking video game. That's why I didn't understand what was going on.
A little bit
The
of free
beginning
guy
of the
in
movie
there.
is in the video game.
Oh, free guy.
So she had to find him and bring him back so they could find Neo, because they were obviously having a hard time finding him.
But they don't flush any of that out, Ryan. That's the thing, is that you're
that's
right.
the problem.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that would have been the motivation. But we didn't see any of that. It was just like, oh, hey, I'm going to get Neo out. Why? Because I want to. Like, wait, what? And then he can spit being a bitch.
It honestly seems like they were trying to. It seems like they were trying to for years, but they couldn't find him because Doogie Howser kept changing the way he looked, kept changing his code, and kept pumping him full of so many blue pills, they couldn't fucking find him.
Come on, Jada Pinkett Smith should have been able to sniff that shit out after 16.
Well,
honestly, Jada Pinkett Smith seemed like after Zion went down and Io, whatever the fuck it's called now.
It's Io now.
Ever since that started, it just seems like
how many people in the theater actually in Ohio went, OH?
Every time I knew they were going to say it, I would yell OH. I just want to throw that out there.
She became Captain Locke. Like, she became the one that needed to keep everybody together, and
It was annoying.
Yeah, like
Let's talk
instead
about
of
IO for a minute of how clean and everything looked in place, and that was one of the issues I had with
How did
it.
they
Was
build that in
yeah,
60 years with no
right.
technology? Like,
I mean,
okay. Well, I guess
I mean,
some of the machines were helping them, so they can explain it that
this is
way.
true. I guess the big huge dolphin that flies around in the sky can go around and clean up trash, I guess. But
I just keep hearing the flipper
Oh my God.
sound like in my head now.
what's that?
Like,
But
do
yeah,
some
I-
tricks, Flipper. Hey, thanks for
I honestly I was like, did I smoke too much? Is that dolphin actually in the movie, or is the weed really just hitting that hard?
No,
And
but I want
unfortunately,
to
the
go
dolphin was
back
in
to
the
Brian's
movie.
point because Brian, I don't disagree with you. And the thing is that's the movie I wanted. I
yeah, they
wanted
should
a
have done better
movie.
in explaining it. It shouldn't have taken me 3 times in a row to
Yes,
fucking watch
but
it
the thing
to
is though,
figure that shit out.
is the way that it's done though is still stupid. So let's say we redo everything and we change that to where that's flushed out better. That still doesn't forgive destroying the whole character of the one and basically like, oh well, never mind. It was just you were just better than everybody else. There was never really a one. We just lied to you so you would do like fuck that. You're ruining
Well,
everything.
how do you
Yeah,
mean?
but
How,
Movies
to
building
but
me,
up.
how do? But
to me,
wait,
it seems
how
like
do you mean
they
by
changed
that?
the number one. They
What do you
changed
mean
one
that?
from Neo to Trinity.
You're
No,
right,
no,
and
no,
there's
no,
no
no, no,
reason
no.
for that.
There is no.
Instead of one, now it's two.
Yeah, but
I
that's
think
what I'm
what happened
talking about.
was
That's a MacGuffin. That didn't need to happen. They already
Yeah.
had that
actually, I
lore
think it did.
established.
If you look at how everything went on to create the new Matrix, you needed Neo to help stabilize it, but you needed Trinity to help stabilize him to keep everything stabilized.
Sure.
I think what they ended up doing was they inadvertently created another one source
Ugh.
code in Trinity. Because
I mean,
where
okay.
the building that they were held in was called the anomaly,
Yeah.
which is what the one has always been referred to as. He is always the anomaly.
I get
So I
that.
think by bringing her back and plugging her in and having her such strongly tied together with Neo, it gave a lot of his powers came off into her, which created another anomaly. I don't think it was meant to happen, but I
Right.
think it did happen, which is
So
why she was able to fly and do
Yeah.
some of the stuff that Neo was able to do. And now Neo's getting back into his powers. So we're now at the very end of the movie, he can fly on his own again without having her attached to him.
Ryan, again, I'm going to say the Star Trek Generations reference. We didn't need to kill Captain Kirk in order to
Yeah.
destroy the
I-
Enterprise D, which was
I
the whole
agree.
goal of that movie.
I agree, but I understand why.
Yeah.
But even understanding why still doesn't make
No,
the
it still
why
doesn't make it
acceptable.
better, but it makes it more understandable so I can enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah,
Look,
we
guys,
get what you're saying, and you're making perfect sense.
I
And
understand.
We kind of wish you were in the writers' room with them, because then you could have said, "Hey, that whole 40-minute
No,
meta
they
scene,
wouldn't
we
want
can
me.
cut that." and we
Yeah.
can
I
put
would
this
I would
part in."
treat it like a training session with wrestling. I'd be walking around with a stick, and when somebody makes a stupid mistake, I'd whack them upside the head with it and go, "What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Do it again, but do it
that's-
better. The fuck's wrong with you?"
That's my whole
Can you
thing is
do that
like,
and go to Lucasfilm and try that with Kathleen Kennedy and the writers of all the
it'll
Star
never happen.
Wars?
Kathleen
They're
Kennedy, I
also
will
doing
break the
such a
stick
good
over her
job.
fucking head.
So
I
that's
will break the stick over her fucking head. That's where I would go with Kathleen Kennedy. Fuck her.
this is my point though, is that I understand the why, but it was still fucking terrible. So just
It was.
remove
It was.
all of the stupid shit and just focus on there's a civil war between the machines. Shit's going south. Humans need backup. Let's find Neo again. Hey, we got Neo out, but he's changed now. What's wrong? Oh, they fucked with him. Oh, Matrix is different now. Oh shit, we need to get Trinity so that they'll be good again. We get Trinity out. Okay, now the one's back. Oh shit, never mind. Now there's 2 ones. That would have been a phenomenal movie.
Right.
Get rid of all the meta shit. Get rid of the Malthovian, whatever his fucking name is, showing up all crazy with long hair, made no goddamn sense. Get rid of all that. Get rid of all the characters. Get rid of all the new actors playing old kids. Get rid of all that stupid shit.
Yeah.
And just focus on getting Neo and Trinity out, discovering Trinity now has powers because the machines had to do it in order to keep the Matrix going. And now we're going to move forward into this civil war with the machines and whose side are we on? What's going to happen? But no, we muddied it up with this dumb shit.
And even with that, we don't even need Agent Smith anymore. I mean, why do we really need him? You know, it just felt like they just threw him in because, we have Neo. We're going to throw in.
Well, and Agent Smith sells tickets because people love Hugo and people buy tickets for Hugo.
And nothing against Jonathan, because I loved him in Mindhunter. That is a fantastic show. If people that are watching this have not seen it, go watch it on Netflix.
Show.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I'll check it out.
Amazing show.
It is an amazing
Absolutely
show.
Amazing.
But his betrayal was like, I mean, and I guess I'm comparing it to Hugo Weaving, which really isn't fair to any other actor.
Right. How can you
compare Hugo to an amazing actor? But the scope was like way off.
No, you're absolutely right.
Action figure.
You're absolutely right. But there were some moments where I actually thought that he was Smith. There were some moments. He did have a few. He had some mannerisms in the way he talked where I was like, okay, that's Smith. But you could tell it was an updated, new source code version of him.
Yeah, it was a Ken.
I'll give you in the very beginning when Neo walks into his office and he kind of does that speech.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that he does have that kind of Smith feel. But then it's like other times, like during the fight scenes, he was almost like an action figure, where like it was just someone like holding the action figure and just moving his arms and stuff.
Honestly, I thought that was more Keanu than him.
Well, all of them are slow on their moves. And this is a Matrix movie. And I've seen John Wick, so I know Keanu's still got it. So what the hell happened? Again, where was the money spent in this movie?
I think Keanu read the script and was like, I'm going to get paid for this, but this really isn't all that great.
Here's the problem. And again, when it comes to movies, I love stunts. I love all this stuff. Sorry, my dogs are barking. My bad.
Even the dogs don't like the movie.
They're fucking pissed. They didn't use a second. They didn't use. She directed the fight scenes, which I'm a big proponent of not having directors direct fight scenes.
I agree.
And the reason why is my grand example is Wonder Woman 84. Patty Jenkins, you are not a fight director. You're not a fight director. You just can't do that. She had the idea of, I'm going to fire Zack Snyder's amazing stunt team that always delivers on a good fight scene because that's the best idea I got. Like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And I was watching the fight scenes. I'm like, these are boring, cliche, nothing mystifying.
Nothing happens.
Right? Here's one of the reasons why I watch Matrix 2. Because that truck scene on the highway,
amazing. Amazing.
And the best part is the whole first movie, they're like, never go on the highway. Never go on the highway. So
and they deliver on why you never go on the fucking highway.
Fuck. They're going on the highway. And the two white culturally appropriated twins with the dreadlocks.
The twins.
Yeah. I'm like, this is insane. But
and then we didn't get any of that in Matrix 4.
You didn't get any of that.
And really, was that the high watermark of the Matrix movies? Was that kind of fight scene? Because we had the original. Original was awesome. We get all the way through. The second one's not bad. You get to that fight scene. That fight scene's spectacular.
Yeah.
And then everything afterwards is almost kind of like the wave is now just starting to fall back down.
Well, and that's the
thing. 3 is good, but it's got a lot of holes.
But that's the thing. They got to trust the stunt teams. They got to trust the stunt teams because this movie. Here's the thing: you're making a martial arts movie. The word art is in martial arts, and if you don't respect the artist, you're going to get a shitty fight. That's all I have to say to that. But I have a couple cool little trivia facts I prepared if
Oh,
we
nice.
want to end this on a high note with this movie, even though it seems like it pissed us all off, would you like to know some cool trivia facts about this movie?
I don't even know if I'm done
course.
talking about this movie yet.
Did you know that the guy who played Chow, Tiffany's husband, not only directed the John Wick movies, but also he was Keanu Reeves' stunt doubles for the original Matrix movies. So in a weird way, Tiffany was married to Neo in a weird way. So I always found that.
Yeah.
I kind of found that kind of interesting. And Keanu Reeves' reflection in the movie is actually I forgot Carrie Ann Moss's actual husband.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
So there's all these, and then the one I thought was really cool was, and I can't pronounce the ship. I apologize. The Mesmoes. What's the ship called?
I don't know the name of the new one.
I don't know the name of the new one.
Okay, so on there, I read
they show the plate once, and then they mention the name once, and that was really it.
Yeah, but also it had the phrase, it had the word Mark 3:19 on it, which in the Bible, that's a scripture that says Judas Iscariot who betrays him, and everybody believes this was a nod to Neo's therapist, the analyst, betraying him. So there was kind of like it. Like I said, there was these nice little details, but again, not fleshed out, not executed properly, so we couldn't really enjoy any of these. But I thought those were kind of cool little facts I wanted to share with you, gentlemen.
I appreciate it, Jesse. Let's go ahead and wrap. We're a little bit over time, so let's get everybody's final thought. I'll go first. I don't want them to make another movie. To be honest, if they do make another one, I want one that's fast forwarded like 1,000 years, where there's no characters left and they're all new. Or I want them to go back and do a prequel where we see humanity and the machines, and we create them, and we're living together, and then shit goes south, and then we go to the war. We get the first Matrix. Let's do that. We're done with the Neo shit. Just like in Star Wars, we're done with the Skywalker shit. You don't need to keep doing it. There is a past, present, and future full of other characters in these universes. Explore those. Stop doing these, because you keep doing shit like this to the Matrix. They keep doing shit like that to Star Wars. They've been doing it to Fast and Furious, and any other franchise that has more than 3 movies does this.
What are you talking about? Fast and Furious, not a dud in sight.
Okay.
Fast and Furious will never end. It'll just keep going
and going. Attached to a car, doing a wrecking ball down the street.
Wait,
if that
my thoughts on Fast and the Furious.
I don't know what did.
My thoughts on Fast and the Furious. It's no longer fast, and it makes me fucking furious.
Exactly. It's not about the cars in California.
After the second one, they should have fucking ended it.
I love how John
part 2 was great.
Part 2 was great. It was great, but I don't think they needed anything else after that.
Yeah,
I thought they did a fantastic job wrapping it all up after 2.
So
why do we need?
I don't think I've seen one after 2. To be honest with you, I just gave up after that.
And now
you're not missing much.
So
all 9
into space now. Like, I mean, didn't they
They're
learn
still
that from
talking about
Jason and Critters and everything else that went into space?
Dude,
once you go into space, your franchise completely dies.
I mean, or it gets better in the case of Jason Voorhees. Let's just be honest. It got better after we had Jason X. But anyways, wrap it up our Matrix conversation.
Wrap it up, yeah.
So, I think that this movie could have been a lot better if they left out like 80% of the dumb shit that they did and just focus on the one cohesive story that people actually cared about and wanted to see. But they didn't do that. They wanted to convolute it up with a bunch of meta shit. They wanted to convolute it up with a bunch of let's flip this because that would be cool. Let's do this. Let's do this. No. Everybody fucking hated it. Stop doing this shit. So don't do another one. I don't want another movie made. Either go in the past, go in the future, or just stop fucking making the movies. Give us more John Wick movies. Those are reliable. Give Keanu his Constantine movie. Put him in the MCU. The dude can still work. Let's do that instead of
Constantine is underrated. Underrated movie.
He says that's the character he wants to reprise more than anything else. So
give it to him. Stop giving him these roles. Give him Constantine. Give him more John Wick movies. Put him in the MCU. Let's keep the man working without ruining his reputation with these shitty movies. That's my piece on that.
I agree.
Yeah. Bryan, Ryan, any final thoughts before we Son
I'll
of
let Bryan go first.
No, I'll let the man with the nice beard go before me. As someone who can, this is all I can grow, so I'm gonna live vicariously through you with that beard.
Yeah, but Bryan, your hair was like super long before. You had like massively long hair.
This is true, yeah.
So
where I got nothing.
Yeah, and mine's all bundled.
I'm telling you, man, we got to get our own podcast going.
I love the Ryan and Bryan show. That's so great.
The beard and hair show.
Yes.
All right. So, like I said, it was no Red Ryder BB gun, but I enjoyed it. I understand where they were going with. Did they have to go the route that they did with it? No. I think they could have done better with it. Would I like to see more movies? Yeah, they left it open. I'd like to see if they could kind of fix what they did with this one and kind of make things go a little bit better, get more action in it, delve more into how Trinity uses her powers. Could she be bad? Could she be good? Because we already know how Neo's going to be with his powers.
There we go.
He already demonstrated it. How's Trinity going to be with the same type of godlike powers?
Yeah, there we go.
What could be next for Smith? Is he just going to go away? Is he going to continue to try and be the most powerful being in the entire digital universe? What about the new Scion? Because no matter how much you dress it up, it's still the same fucking thing. Well, yeah, they have strawberries and a few other things. You polish a turd, it's still a turd.
There you go, man. Best phrase ever.
So, I want to see more of what happens with that, and if Niobe ever stops being the Captain Lock-like character, and if she goes back to how she used to be.
Yeah.
They left a lot open that they can go through in other movies. It's just whether or not they plan on implementing it, which is something I would like to see.
Personally, it's a tough call. I mean, yes, I would like to see more movies, only because I do love The Matrix, and I think the idea of The Matrix can still work. But after seeing this, I worry that they don't know what they have in front of them.
Yep.
And, you know, like I said, it felt like Trinity was the main character of a movie, which is perfectly fine, and it is totally awesome. But when she's only in it 20% of the movie, that kind of hinders the movie a little bit. So if you're going to make Trinity now the one, which cool, that they can be dual number ones and battle robots or whatever, fine, but have an idea. And I hate to bring back Star Wars into it because you don't want to compare the two, but it kind of feels like Star Wars in the final sequels where, okay, we wrote this movie. Now let's go write that movie. Yep. And then let's see, okay, now we're completely fucked and we have no idea where the story's going. So let's just throw, Smith back into the movie at the final part.
Yeah,
and the Emperor. And I don't want to go through that again because it's really ruined Star Wars for me, which ruins my childhood. And I don't want the same thing to happen to The Matrix. So, yes, I would like to see new movies. I just worry about the direction of it going.
Yeah. Totally agree.
I mean, honestly, it seems like they have more of an idea of what they want to do if they decide to make more movies for The Matrix than they ever did with the Star Wars sequels. They well said, we had no direction.
Yeah.
We didn't know where we were going with this.
Nope.
And that was blatantly fucking apparent.
Yeah.
But it seems like this movie, the start of it, they have a general idea of where they're going with it. It's just getting to that point through other movies. I'll agree. I am worried about it, but
yeah. And actually, a sci-fi series that I would like to see continued besides The Matrix is Blade Runner. Because Blade Runner 2049, while it was 9 years long to watch it, actually sets yourself up for other movies. While this one, you get set up because you have Trinity and Neo, But it's like, where do you go beyond what you've already done? I mean, are
Right.
they now going to go fight the robots again?
Right.
Or, you know,
Yeah.
at least with Blade Runner 2049, you actually had the idea of the androids finally going, okay, well, now we can probably take the humans. And let's see that actual battle happen.
I got it. Neo is the Captain Phasma. There it is. That's what they did to Neo.
Oh, come
They
on.
turned him into Captain
Don't do
Phasma.
Neo
You're
like
wrong. Think about it. It's already clicking in your heads. I see both of you right now.
Don't do
That
They
Neo
hurt.
turned
like
Neo into
that.
Captain
That really
Phasma.
hurts.
You know it.
One of the most useless fucking characters in the entire
That's what they did
sequel
to him.
trilogy.
That's what they did to Neo in this fourth
Yeah.
Matrix movie. They literally
Yeah.
turned him into Captain Phasma. That is
Fuck,
what they
now
did.
you're
Yeah,
right.
yep.
What the fuck?
You can't
Yeah.
unsee that. You can't unsee that now, Ryan.
You have
That-
totally
yeah.
destroyed
roll around in
Ryan's
your head
night
for a
now.
couple
Now
days.
Ryan is totally, he was happy, he was fine, and now
Oh.
he is totally depressed.
No,
You
turn
red
upside
pilled him.
down.
I was happy with Neo Wick. Now it's fucking Neo Phasma. What
Neo
the fuck?
Phasma. That's what they did to him.
You red pilled him. That's what you did. You took away his
We're putting
happiness.
Ryan on suicide watch
Motherfucker.
now.
God
Jesse,
damn it, I'm eating strawberries right now. Now I got fucking tasty, wheat, creamy goop.
oh shit, Jesse, we are 15 minutes over.
We gotta
Please
wrap
close
up. We
this
gotta
out.
wrap up. All right, listen. I had a blast talking about.
Oh, it's a great show.
I had a blast talking about the Cyberpunk Truman Show. This was great. Do it again. Can't wait till we get to do it again. Thank you, everybody who lit up the comment sections. Tom, Dan, Becca. Let's see. Yeah, Dan. I thought we had one
Don't
other.
forget Ted.
Ted, there he is.
Watching.
Ted was at the top. Thank you, guys. You guys rock. Thank you for everybody. I want to give a big shout out to Ryan and Bryan for joining us tonight. You guys rock. This was a very fun show. If there's anything Matrix related again, hopefully it's a good movie and we could talk about it.
Excellent.
Definitely. Basically, this is the last show of the year. We'll be back next Wednesday, man. So John and I have got some really cool things planned. So just hang in there. Keep an eye on our page. Make sure you go to YouTube, like and subscribe our page there. Watch past episodes all the time. Great content. Always good to catch up on. And until next time, I'm Jesse.
And I'm John.
And you've been sitting at the grown-ups table. Thank you very much, everybody. And have a happy New Year's. We'll see you next year. All right? Take care.
Happy New
Happy
Year,
New Year,
everybody.
guys.
Take care.